For many years, Disney has been bringing more and more characters to the parks at Walt Disney World. Several of them have been recent characters, like maybe the Cars or Incredibles or Frozen. And a very popular discussion in our Disney family: is it too much? Has Disney gone too far? This is a question that you may have asked yourself already, or maybe not, depending on what you like best at Walt Disney World. No matter how you feel about it, you can't deny that Disney's been adding more and more of those characters, especially the recent acquisition characters, to different rides and shows and nighttime spectaculars at Walt Disney World. We can see examples of this all over, from the second Epcot show coming very soon, which will feature many IPs, to the update to the Rivers of Light show in Animal Kingdom, all the way to the new Municeburg featuring the Incredibles at Hollywood Studios. Now, right off the bat, you may be saying to yourself, Michael, I already know how I feel about this. Either I really like these new acquisitions coming to the park, or I really don't, and I totally understand that. That being said, I invite you to take a trip with me through other perspectives and consider what Disney might be thinking about while they're doing this. Let's start with a few examples. One relatively new addition that we've been seeing a lot in the parks are the Incredibles, and it's not just in one park, it's been in several different parks. Whether it's just a small dance party here and there, or maybe all of Tomorrowland being transformed into an Incredibles expo with small parades and special photo ops, all the way to an entirely new section of Hollywood Studios known as Municeburg, where you have it devoted totally to the supers. You can't deny that we've been seeing them a lot recently. Now, is this a good thing or a bad thing? I would say it depends on you. Do you like the Incredibles, or maybe you don't? I personally love seeing the Incredibles at Walt Disney World. It never gets old to me, and I love seeing these special expos and special new areas that are being built just for them. But not everyone likes the same thing. There are several in our community who may say, you know what, the Incredibles are nice, but they're just not my thing. I don't really love to go and see them all the time, and you know what? That's okay. And that's one of the big factors that I'm focusing on when I'm thinking about this. We don't all have to like the exact same thing to love the same magical place. For those who don't really feel like meeting the Incredibles, no one is forcing you to go into Municeburg. Just as an example, you can have more time to go on Rock and Roller Coaster, see Toy Story Friends, see the Indiana Jones show, and more. Now that's an easy one. If you like the Incredibles, you can go to Municeburg and see them all. If you don't, you can just avoid the area. But that's not it. That is not the end of the story. Disney has been expanding a lot more with those IPs, and we have many examples that are either under construction or already done. I can think of several examples right off the bat: the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster, Pandora World of Avatar, the upcoming Ratatouille ride in Epcot, of course Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and a bit of a throwback, Frozen Ever After replacing Maelstrom. Maelstrom closed on October 5th, 2014, and would you believe I still hear complaints from some guests who really would have preferred it to stay. Now, I could give you the whole Walt wanted things to move forward, and Walt Disney World is not just a museum of things that we love, but we've been over that before. The reality is, we have to think about what makes the Disney company successful. The truth of the matter is that we love Disney, and we're going to keep going back again and again as long as we continue to smile when we're there and come away with magical memories that will last a lifetime. The big question is, if you're the CEO of the Disney company, or maybe just the president of all of the Disney parks around the globe, or just at Walt Disney World, and you see the parks are fantastic, making guests extremely happy, but you notice that the amount of money that they're making is going down year over year over year, and then the attendance is going down year over year over year. And then you look next door, and then there are other parks that are building the latest and greatest attractions, something brand new that are starting to attract a lot of guests, and in reality, they're cutting into your profits. In my opinion, you have several different options and alternatives to choose from, but in today's video I'm going to go over the two most likely options that Disney had on the table as they were deciding what to do. Option 1, you can focus on the guests who love coming to Walt Disney World and hope that more guests continue to join them. You have Food Rocks, the classic Figment ride, and more, and you say, you know what, come and experience the magic that your grandfather or grandmother may have really loved. Option 2, you can continue to build on your success in the attempt to bring more guests to the park. And when I say build on your success, I mean literally build on top of your success. Ellen's Energy Adventure, tear that down, keep the building structure, and then make the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster, just to give you one example. Between those two options, you may be thinking to yourself, they obviously chose option 2, right? In my opinion, yes and no. I believe they chose option 2 but they also chose option 1. I think they're trying to do both. Michael, that's impossible. How can Disney cater to those who love the classic attractions and the shows and also cater to those who want the new characters and different IPs in the park? For those saying that Disney chose option 2 long ago, you're definitely not wrong. You look to the left, you look to the right, there are new IPs appearing everywhere. It doesn't feel like that educational, nostalgic feel anymore. It's more about those recent movies and different acquisitions. You're not wrong, not one bit, but that being said, I believe that Disney is attempting, at least to a small degree, to keep some of that nostalgic and classic Disney in the parks. You may call it money saving, but I believe Disney is keeping several of those classic attractions in the park to make those who love the classic Disney very happy. Could those classic attractions be on the chopping block one day too? Absolutely, but that's not what Disney's going for. Disney's not saying they're going to be there forever. It's about that slow progression. So is Small World going to go away one day, or maybe Space Mountain? It's possible. I don't know. Maybe. Probably not for a long time. Probably not for a long time. But that being said, it's never meant to just be there forever. Maybe one day, maybe, but it's that slow progression. Even though they do want to continue to move forward, they don't want to forget about the past, and we can see several examples of this. One that I like to think about quite a bit, Illumination's Reflections of Earth. My favorite fireworks show at Walt Disney World will be gone before the year is up, and does that make me sad? Absolutely, no question about it. But that being said, I'm also very excited and optimistic for the future. We saw it, we loved it. It's been around for almost 20 years, and Disney knew they had to replace it. They could have done it overnight, not told a soul, but instead they decided to give us a year's worth of notice so that if we really had an emotional connection with that show, we could make time to go back and see it. Now, on top of that, in addition to giving us a year's worth of notice to say goodbye to Illuminations, the next show that comes after it is basically a throwback to Epcot. This is a throwback fireworks show that will temporarily replace Illuminations. I know that the throwback show is an interim show and it will not be there for too long, but that being said, you've got to give Disney credit here. They are taking the time, the energy, the money, everything it takes to make a brand new show that's only going to be there for a year, simply for one reason: to make those who love classic Epcot happy. Now, with all of that being said, am I really happy that Illuminations is going away and that the permanent replacement will be IP focused? Not necessarily. I wouldn't say excited, but I am hopeful for the future. The reason I'm so hopefully optimistic is because I know that Disney is going to listen to guests. Now, why am I so optimistic for the future? Well, I'm thinking of one show in particular, Rivers of Light. When the Rivers of Light show was first announced, we were all super excited about it. I went to go see it. I liked it. I didn't love it. It wasn't even in the top ranking for me, so I actually did not see it again. Then Disney saw this. They saw that a lot of guests were not going, so they made a change. They took away some of those shamans, and for many of us, that was actually a worse change. So many of us were saying, okay, not interested at all anymore, and I know several friends who have very strong feelings about those shamans, and I'm right there with you. So then Disney says, okay, well, that clearly didn't work, so let's try something else. And there's a new revamp of Rivers of Light, and all of these changes have been made because we, the guests, said, you know what, this isn't our favorite thing, let's have something else. We, the guests, have all the power. We go to shows that we absolutely love. Example, Illuminations, Reflections of Earth. Disney sees this. Disney sees the overwhelming crowd and says, oh my gosh, we've got to keep it going. So they keep it going for 20 years, and even when it ends, they decide to make a brand new show just to celebrate the past of Epcot. That's how much they know we love looking at the past with them. On the flip side of that, if there's a show that guests aren't really too excited about, like Rivers of Light, that's just my example, by the way. If you love Rivers of Light, that's okay too. But if guests really aren't that interested in it, Disney's going to see that in attendance. And then within 2 years of its first release at Animal Kingdom, Disney has reimagined it twice. We, the guests, truly have all the power. Just ask yourself, why would Disney go through all of the time and effort to create an entire throwback show after Illuminations if they don't know their audience? Clearly, they do, and they realize what we like and what we don't. Many guests do enjoy the IPs at Walt Disney World, although some guests don't, many guests do. And Disney's going to continue to do things that inspire and make as many guests happy as possible. In the end, it is a business, and in the vacation destination travel market, you have to be willing to take risks, take chances, chances and be willing to sacrifice things that you have built up in order to build something even better. Disney's goal is to have guests come back again and again and continue to smile and make new magical memories every single time. And another goal to that is to try and make you forget about other vacation travel destinations. And by the way, Disney, that's working on me pretty well. There's another, place close by, Una something. Who knows? I'm just gonna go to Disney. Are there too many recent acquisition IPs at Walt Disney World, or maybe not enough? It comes down to your opinion. But either way, Disney's going to try and make decisions that will make as many guests happy as possible. Those are my thoughts. I would love to hear from you. Do you agree with me that Disney's trying to walk both sides of the line there, or do you think they've just gone all in for those IPs? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being a part of the magic with me. Until next time, have a magical day.